Before we dive into the actual 7 habits, we need to pause and understand these 2 big concepts. Because if you skip this part, the habits won't make much sense. They'll just feel like a random list of nice ideas. The first one is called the inside-out approach. Let me put it this way. Imagine your room is a complete disaster. Clothes on the floor, dishes stacked up, random stuff everywhere. Now, if your friends text and say they're coming over, you could panic and shove everything under the bed or into the closet. From the outside, the room looks spotless. But the second someone opens that closet door, the mess explodes out and you're caught. That's what most of us do in life. We fix the outside. We polish the image, we fake being organized, we try to look successful, but deep down, the mess is still there. Now, the second idea might be even more important. Here's the story. There's a farmer who owns a goose, but not just any goose. This one lays a golden egg every single day. The farmer can't believe his luck. At first, he's thrilled. A golden egg a day? That's life-changing. But after a while, he gets greedy. He thinks, why am I waiting? If I just cut the goose open, I can grab all the eggs right now. So he does. And of course, he finds nothing. No more goose. No more eggs. The golden eggs are the results we want. Money, finished projects, goals achieved, success. But the goose? That's what makes those results possible. Your health, your energy, your relationships, your skills. And just like the farmer, most of us chase the eggs so hard that we forget to take care of the goose. We push and grind and burn out until suddenly there's nothing left. And that's what these 7 habits of highly effective people are really about. They're not quick hacks. They're a system for building a life that works from the inside out, where you succeed, but without destroying yourself in the process. Habit number 1, be proactive. This is the habit that everything else is built on. Now, I know what you're thinking. Be proactive? Yeah, take initiative. Got it. But it is so much cooler and more powerful than that. Imagine 2 friends, Alex and Sam. Now imagine they both work at the same company, and on a random Tuesday, their boss announces a huge, unexpected restructuring. Layoffs are coming. Rumors are flying. Everyone's panicking. Let's check in on Alex first. Alex is freaking out. He's constantly refreshing the news, doom scrolling through LinkedIn, and huddling with coworkers at the coffee machine to complain. His language is full of things like, "This is so unfair. They can't do this to us. I have to just wait and see what happens. There's nothing I can do." Alex is living in what the author calls the circle of concern. It's that giant stressful space filled with everything we worry about but can't control. The economy, the company's decisions, other people's choices. Now let's see what Sam is doing. Sam was stressed too, but after that initial shock, she did something different. She asked herself one simple question: what is within my control right now? She realized she couldn't control the restructuring, but she could control her own readiness. So she updated her resume. She signed up for an online course to sharpen a skill. She reached out to a few key contacts in her network just to catch up. Her language sounded like, "I choose to use this time to get prepared. I can control how I show up. Let me explore my options." Sam is operating from her circle of influence. It's a smaller, quieter space inside the big, chaotic one, and it's filled with things she can actually do. Her effort, her attitude, her next step. Proactive people find that space and they live in it. Reactive people, they skip right over it. They let the stimulus dictate their response. They're like a pinball, just getting bounced around by everything life throws at them. Habit number 2, begin with the end in mind. This is my favorite habit because it's basically giving yourself permission to dream. Think of it like this. Imagine a construction crew shows up to an empty lot. They've got all the tools, the materials, the workers. They're efficient, they're busy, they're sawing and hammering away. But there's one huge problem. There's no blueprint. No one ever gave them a plan for the house. How do you think that's going to turn out? It's going to be a disaster. They might be efficient, but they're not effective. Most of us are living our lives like that construction crew. We're so busy being busy, efficiently managing our time, ticking off tasks, but we never stop to ask, wait, what house am I even trying to build? Do I even want a house? Here's a powerful way to find your end in mind. It's a little intense, but stick with me. Fast forward. Imagine it's your 80th birthday, or if you're really brave, your own funeral. All the most important people in your life are there. Your family, your friends, your colleagues. One by one, they stand up to say a few words about you. What do you hope they say? Not about your job title or how efficient you were. I mean, what do you hope they say about your character? What kind of friend were you? What kind of partner? What kind of parent? What difference did you make in their lives? What values did you stand for? That speech, that's your end in mind. That's the blueprint for the house you want to build with your life. Now, how do we make this practical today? You can start with a personal mission statement, like, I want to be the kind of person who brings curiosity, not judgment, who builds people up, not tears them down, and who leaves things a little better than I found them. It sounds fancy, but it's just a few sentences that capture who you want to be and what you want to be about. So when life gets chaotic and you have to make a tough decision, you can look at it and ask, does this choice align with my blueprint? Does it get me closer to the person I want to be at 80? By the way, if you're getting value from this so far, do me a quick favor, hit that like button. It tells me this kind of content is actually helping, and it also pushes the video out to more people who probably need to hear this too. Habit number 3. Put first things first. See, habit 2 was leadership. It was about deciding what the first things even are. Habit 3 is management. And to make it simple, Covey shares something called the time management matrix. It creates 4 boxes, and once you see them, you'll start spotting them everywhere in your own life. Let's break down those 4 quadrants. Quadrant 1, the firefighter zone. Urgent and important. These are genuine crises and deadlines. Your kid gets sick at school. Your water heater bursts. A project deadline is today. You have to deal with these. But if you live here permanently, you are stressed, burned out, and constantly putting out fires. Quadrant 3, the deception zone. Urgent but not important. This is the trickster. These things feel urgent because they're loud, but they are not important to your goals. Most interruptions, some emails and meetings, other people's priorities. It's pulling you away from what matters to deal with someone else's urgent. Quadrant 4, the waste zone. Not urgent and also not important. Mindless scrolling, binge-watching shows you don't even like, excessive video games. We all need to veg out sometimes, but too much time here is pure escape. It's the junk food of time management. Now, are you ready for the most important box? Quadrant 2, the golden goose zone. Not urgent, but very important. This is the habit. This is where highly effective people live. What's in here? Planning, exercise, learning a new skill, deep work on your big project, building relationships, writing your mission statement, true recreation that actually fills you back up. Nothing in Quadrant 2 is screaming at you. No one is demanding you do it right now. That's why it's so easy to ignore. But this quadrant is all about feeding the goose. It's about doing the important work before it becomes an urgent crisis. Think about it. If you spend time in Quadrant 2 exercising and eating well, you prevent a health crisis in Quadrant 1, like a heart attack. If you spend time planning your week in Quadrant 2, you prevent a last-minute panic in Quadrant 1. If you invest in a relationship in Quadrant 2, you prevent a huge blow-up argument in Quadrant 1. So how do we actually do this? We schedule it. We make an appointment with ourselves. At the start of each week, look at your blueprint from Habit 2. Ask yourself, what are the 1 or 2 Quadrant 2 activities that if I did them, would make everything else easier or even irrelevant? Then open your calendar and time block those activities. You treat them like a doctor's appointment you cannot miss. Habit number 4. Think win-win. This is where we move from mastering our own world to dealing with other people's worlds. And let's be real, that's where things usually get messy. Covey tells a story in the book that makes this whole habit super clear. He wanted his son to help with the yard work. But here's how it played out. At first, he tried the win-lose approach. He pulled the dad card and said, "You're the kid, I'm the parent, get out there and do it." Technically, he won. The son obeyed. But the son was dragging his feet, frustrated, and the whole mood around the house turned sour. The yard got done, but at what cost? Then he swung the other way and tried lose-win. He basically gave up and said, "Fine, don't worry about it, I'll handle it myself." The son won that time, but now he was stuck outside doing all the work, annoyed and bitter. Again, not really a win for anyone. So he stopped and asked himself, what would a real win look like for both of us? And that's when it clicked. His son hated being forced to do things, but he loved 2 things, getting paid and driving the car. So he tried a different approach. He told his son, "If you help me get the yard done quickly and well, I'll pay you for your time. And once we're finished, you can take the car and go see your friends." Suddenly, everything shifted. They worked together without all the tension. The yard was finished, the dad got the help he needed, and the son got both money and the car. And that's why this habit matters so much. Business isn't a solo sport. Every deal you close, every partnership you form, every customer you serve, it all comes down to how you work with people. If you treat every negotiation like a battle, sure, you might win a contract here and there, but in the long run, you lose trust. Habit number 5, seek first to understand, then to be understood. Okay, imagine you go to the doctor and you say, "Doc, my arm hurts right here when I do this." And before you can even finish, he cuts you off, scribbles on a prescription pad and says, "Take 2 aspirin 4 times a day. That'll be $200. Next. You'd be stunned. You'd think that doctor was the most arrogant, incompetent quack on the planet, right? Because he prescribed before he diagnosed. He gave you a solution before he even understood the problem. Now be honest. Do you ever do that? Think about the last time your partner, a client, or a coworker came to you with a problem. Were you truly listening to understand? Or were you, in that exact same way, just waiting for your turn to prescribe? Habit 5 is the cure. It's about making a diagnosis before you even think about a prescription. And the way you do that, according to the book, is through empathetic listening. Now, this is where most people get stuck. They think listening is just not talking. But that's not it. Empathetic listening is an active, intense thing. It's listening with your ears, your eyes, and your heart. It's about understanding the other person's frame of reference, their feelings, the real meaning behind what they're saying. Then, and only then, after you have diagnosed the real issue, do you have the right to offer a prescription. And now they might actually be ready to hear it. Habit number 6, synergize. You know how sometimes you meet people who are insanely good at something you totally suck at? Like, maybe you're the big idea person, but the moment someone says Excel spreadsheet, your brain just shuts down. That's where synergy comes in. It's basically the magic that happens when 2 or more people combine their strengths instead of trying to do it all alone. Take Apple, for example. Steve Jobs wasn't the guy soldering circuit boards. That was Steve Wozniak. Jobs had vision and storytelling. Wozniak had technical genius. Together, they built Apple. And you're probably watching this video on one of their devices right now. If either had tried to go solo, we might not even know their names. When I first started making videos, I realized something. I was really good at storytelling. I could write scripts, explain ideas in a way that felt fun and engaging. But then came the editing. Man, my editing skills were, let's just say, average. So what did I do? I brought in an editor. They know the pacing, the effects, the flow, stuff that would have taken me 10 times longer to figure out. I didn't try to grind away at my weakness until I was miserable. I doubled down on what I do best and teamed up with someone who's amazing at what I'm not. Now here's where it gets practical for you. Ask yourself, who in your life has a strength that complements your weakness? Because highly effective people don't try to be superheroes. They don't do everything themselves. They know when to team up, when to lean on others, and when to combine skills. Habit number 7, sharpen the saw. All right, we've made it to the final habit, and if you only walk away remembering one thing from this whole video, let it be this one. The author explains it with this great little story. Imagine you're walking through the forest and see a man desperately sawing at a tree. He's sweating, struggling, clearly exhausted. You ask, why don't you stop and sharpen the saw? It would go faster. And he says, I don't have time to sharpen the saw. I'm too busy sawing. That's how most of us live. We push harder, grind longer, and somehow convince ourselves that resting, recharging, or taking care of ourselves is wasted time. But it's the opposite. Sharpening yourself is the most productive thing you can do. So what does sharpening the saw actually mean? It means renewal. It means making sure your body, your mind, your relationships, and your spirit don't burn out. It could be as simple as going for a walk, getting a full night of sleep, or eating food that fuels you instead of just fills you. It's picking up a book, learning something new, or even watching something that stretches your thinking. It's calling a friend you care about, really listening without your phone in your hand, or just spending a quiet moment outside remembering why you're doing all this in the first place. You don't have to do all of this every day. That's overwhelming. The point is to make a small investment in each of these areas consistently. Because if you take care of the goose, the golden eggs will take care of themselves. If this video helped you, hit that like button and subscribe for more. Thanks for hanging out. I'll see you in the next one.